on stage Wouter Boelaars, Managing Director, Visma Solidbricks. The floor is yours. Thank you. Take it away.
Good afternoon, Apeldoorn. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Visma, of Thinkwise, for having me here, and Visma for hiring me. I'm here to tell you a bit more about. I'm going to tell you a bit more about what we did on AI in the last half year, a bit more, at Visma Solidbricks. And I want to start with that I was interested in AI for a couple of years, but I hadn't seen the bomb dropping of last year when they dropped ChatGPT coming that fast and exploding like that fast. And I talked to a colleague of Visma, of another Visma company, and he told me ChatGPT was working on it for a while already, and he told me ChatGPT looked a bit like his ex-girlfriend on steroids, because it is always on, it is always delivering you so much talk and stuff, but you can never rely on what it's saying. It's lying to your face, and it won't regret lying to you. So how are we going to use that tool inside our products? That's quite difficult, I think. But that we kind of explored last couple of months. But first, let me tell you a bit about myself. I'm the managing director of Visma Solidbricks, but I'm still a techie. I'm still screen addict. I'm always on my laptop, always at night also. But luckily, I have 3 girls at home. One is my wife. Said only one wife, but yeah. But I have 2 beautiful girls of 4 years old, twin daughters, so they will take me from my screen. And I'm really glad that they do sometimes, so I can focus again when I'm going back to the screen. Luckily, they go to bed very early this time, because they now entered the preschool, or what is it, school. We at Visma Solidbricks, we deliver software to help construction, property developers, but also real estate companies to optimize their processes and especially give them more insight on how their projects are running. That's what we're focusing on. So we do that in .NET software. We did it already for 25 plus years in .NET software. And last year we entered a part of the software we chose to do with Thinkwise. So we started up and we built some nice features already on it. And on that platform, which is on top of the existing software, but also it can run on its own, we built the stuff, and it's also the stuff I'm going to show today. So, in my opinion, this is the best definition there is for AI as a general technology. It imitates whatever we can do, as good as it gets. And what I'm telling you about today is ChatGPT, and I think all the AI presentations we had today, or when they mentioned AI, they most likely are going to be like connecting to ChatGPT or OpenAI functionality and stuff. So that's also what we did. But there is a whole bunch of other features and technology, which is also AI. So it's just only a small part, but it's the part which is booming right now. So everybody's calling AI is the new business. But it's only ChatGPT, I think, what most companies are focusing on now. So, as with every technology, it's always a threat for our jobs, isn't it? And I think a lot of people also think that about ChatGPT or AI functionality, which is now already mind-blowing, but it will continue to grow and even get better. Will it then replace our jobs? I don't think so. I think it will change our jobs. But we have to adopt the functionality which is now there. And if we can take that into our own business, if we can take that in our own processes, which we do on our jobs, I think we can stay ahead and be productive and help our companies and the companies you serve, help them better and grow. So it's all about adopting. And in fact, I'm now already giving it away. This is what I mean with this presentation. I hope to enthusiast you to actually take care of being maybe more productive on AI technology you use yourself, or implement it in software you might build. So That's what we did, and that's what this presentation, with a lot of it is the demo of what we built. That's what we focus on today. So how did we reach our first product innovation with, on the base of it, OpenAI technology? That came when I had a Visma summit. We have that once in a year for all the managing directors of all companies. We go to Oslo, and then we get presentations. And I was there. I think it was in April or May, I'm not sure. And then they said to us a couple of things, of course. As Visma, you want to give directions to your companies, but also, please start using AI within your company, but also start using AI to bring to the products. And they were not mentioning it in one presentation. We had 2 days of presentation, and it was in almost every presentation, just like today. I think AI has been in every presentation, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, I did not been on all the presentations, but it is. So, and I thought, okay, yeah, we are interested. Yeah, some of the developers were using Copilot already. Yeah, how are they dealing with it? Should we bring it to more developers? Did we get some projects out of it? So I was figuring out what to do with it. And then on the other part, I also wanted to have some creative ideas what to build on top of AI functionality. And I was thinking, okay, good. I have a week from this summit I had in Oslo. I have a presentation to the company. And I thought about how we're dealing and stuff. And I thought, okay, I can make a couple of slides to add to this presentation and enthusiast everybody about AI. And I was doing that, and I built the slides. And then the weekend came before the session, and I had nothing to do. Although, of course, I have 2 girls of 4 years old, which I had to entertain a bit. But I was at night working. I was really at night working. And I was thinking, what if I can already build something on top of the Thinkwise platform, what we already were creating, to enthusiast people more than doing it just by slides? And then I started experimenting. And just in 1 weekend, it was quite easy to already build some functionality. You have seen it maybe on the hackathon. You see what 2 of those companies did within 1 day. And I did it. I'm not a good techie, so that's why they promoted me to managing director, of course. So, but I did it in 2 days, maybe, or 3. But I was building it, and right before the presentation to the company, I had already got some really nice things built on top of OpenAI. And that was not with what Jasper Kloos, the CTO of Thinkwise, mentioned earlier in the tech talk about the new version, because now they actually, from Thinkwise, they actually provide you even easier ways to connect to OpenAI. I had to do it with the basic stuff that was there, which is really also not really a problem, but this will definitely help. So I built it, and then I got into the feedback loop. I presented it, I got people, wow, this is interesting. Okay, if that is possible, maybe this is also possible. So I get a lot of feedback. And that's the reason I want to enthusiast you to just start. Also, when you don't have a clear path where you're going to, just start and present it to people. It will give feedback, and it will help you define the future, what you can do with AI. What we build with AI, what I'm going to show now, is just a part. And it's just the ideas we came up with as a team. But maybe you guys have really even more cool stuff. So that's what I was telling about. It's not a technical limitation we're entering with AI. That's already been taken care of by OpenAI or Google or whatever. It's a creative limitation. You have to think of, how can I implement stuff to AI, to your product with AI. So now I want to dive into the demonstration. I will tell you a bit. We are a software vendor, so we build an application which we sell to more than one customer. Maybe some of you just use Thinkwise as the only company using it. But so this is on a multi-SaaS application. So it's available for a lot of companies. Hopefully in the future it's still in demo and test, and we have some testing with some companies doing it. And then, but so this is still test application you're going to see. So. And what we are building is what I earlier said, it's focused on construction and rental, and we do it on top of other applications. So we have a high integration platform also. We built that still with .NET, and we connect to that. So, but that's what we build on. This is, maybe it's not readable that good. I will tell you and I will guide you through every slide which is coming now, because maybe at the back you don't see it, or otherwise, and it will be a bit zoomed out. So, but I will help you a bit. But what we created is what we call Bricky. And Bricky is, of course, a bit like Clippy. I'm not sure if you still know it, but it is helping you. And Clippy was very annoying. It helps you all the time when you don't want it. And Bricky is some AI chatbot which you can ask you to help. So you're in control yourself. So you can set up any kind of assistant by Bricky. So assistance by Bricky. And it goes through chatting. The next slides will be animated GIFs, which we'll run through. So it's just short cycles, and it will maybe run 1 or twice during my talk. But I will explain what's happening there. So the first thing, what we wanted to achieve, is help users with information about the application, which is a quite easy and most implemented way of using OpenAI. So you can type in a question, what is an administration? It gives you the answer, and you can type any questions following that first answer. So in this case, I'm asking, how can I authorize people for administrations? And it will help with the sentences it make up by OpenAI functionality. So what I do in the background here is we give documentation of parts of our documentation which are related to the question. We give that in the prompt to OpenAI, and then OpenAI can then formulate a nice sentence. So that's what we do here. That was already really nice. That was one of the first parts I created. And it is also customizable. So if some company has some really cool processes in their company, but another company which runs on the same software doesn't have the same process, you as a company can add your own documentation with your own keywords, and then if somebody asks a question, it will take into account what that documentation is. So it will help you. We pre-created a couple of assistants, like an assistant which can help correct text. So you put in some text and it will come out nice formatted. So something you can also ask to ChatGPT to do, but then you have to type in the prompt what he or she is doing or needs to be doing. So that's what we predefine as assistant. So also like I predefined an assistant which can help you dealing with really difficult emails, dissatisfied customers or whatever, and then you pump in the email and it gets out a nice proactive answer. So that really can help you. So this is nothing mind-blowing, I think, but the thing we added here is the option to predefine prompts within the application. So you can, as a company using this software, you can predefine prompts which are very useful for your company. And it can be anything. You can set stuff like how creative must the answer be, or how large must the answer be, and what kind of role are you playing, and what is the answer style. That's what you can define. Every company using the software can define them themselves. So they are predefined and customizable assistants. So nice stuff. Not mind-blowing. A lot of it can also be done by ChatGPT. Of course, the documentation part was really cool because we can enter extra documentation part. But then we thought, what's next? So this is the feedback loop I'm telling you about. If that is possible, what could we ever do with the application to also let OpenAI help us on the functionality? And then we had on our backlog one of the things which was dashboarding in the application. So I was already working on dashboards, predefined, which people can shut off or shut on or put on so that they see the dashboards. But it was not really customizable, just on or off. You see it or you don't. but you cannot pump in your data or the way you take a look at your data. So we defined, what if we can ask OpenAI to help us on creating data sets, and then on top of the data sets, can we get some nice diagrams or stuff? So that's what we built here. You can put in a question. Can you give me, in this case, for construction project, can you give me the code, the name, the, contract sum, budgeted, whatever you want. And then please give me the data set back of that question. And then it goes working on the background, and it creates a data set, which was really cool. We could create data sets, whatever we want. So yeah, we were enthusiastic about that, but then again, feedback loop, we got more enthusiastic. What if we can manipulate the data set even more, not get out only predefined columns, but also make some calculations out of it? So we created an option, and we asked the same chatbot, can you make a calculation of, let's say, this column and that column and the percentage out of it? And then we created that, and then in the background, it's updating the data set, and it's creating a percentage as a column within this. So, yeah, we got more and more enthusiastic. And then we thought, okay, this can be maybe as a data set. It's one time you run it, and then you have the data set. Maybe you want to run the same data set next month or in a half a year, and you want to maybe see the difference between it. It's not really OpenAI functionality anymore, but it was just, we created something on OpenAI, and all the other ideas came up. So we made an option to save data sets, to redefine data sets based on new data, to make differences between data sets. And that gives a lot of information to our customers. So, and it's very customizable. But it's still not the diagrams, the dashboarding, which we hoped for. But based on the data set, it's quite easy with the Thinkwise platform to actually create data sets diagrams. So, first, I have to tell a bit about the architecture of this, what we created. In one other session, we had about security, what data goes over the line and what not, what is going to OpenAI and what not. When we first built this, we built it on ChatGPT. So it was going across the ocean to America, and we don't know what they do with it. Now, I'm back to the Azure. I'm using the France region because there's more options there. So that's a tip I give to you. Not the Western European, but the French Azure OpenAI functionality has more options. I use that one, and we have a contract also at Visma, and Azure has a contract that the information we throw over the line is safe and secure, and it's all been dealt with contracts and stuff. But even then, we decided not to send over the data over the line. So what we actually are doing is somebody is using Visma Solidbricks, the application itself. They have a user input. It goes to the Thinkwise platform. The Thinkwise platform enriches it with all functionalities needed, all information needed for OpenAI to actually come back with an answer. And the answer is not the data set, the answer is a query. And the query, which had got all the information to create the query, it's coming back to the Thinkwise platform, and we built some checks in it. We don't want OpenAI to do inserts and deletes, so we're checking that it's not doing that. If it's going on rogue, that we can keep him aligned. So that's something we check. But then, if we decide this is a good query, or we think it's a good query, we run the query. And it could go wrong. It goes wrong. Sometimes when I use it, OpenAI is terrible. It doesn't give me back what I want. But I also give the feedback of what is going wrong back to OpenAI, so it can auto-heal its query building. So that's something we created there. No data is actually going over the line and stays in our own product. So, but then, like I told you before, we wanted to have diagrams. So based on the data set, we predefined, okay, how do you want to use this data set? If you want to see it tomorrow or next week or next month, how do you want to see it? So we presented a way to choose a dashboarding style, like a diagram, in this case a ring diagram, and it will turn the data into this ring diagram. But it could also be a map. If you have the longitude and latitude, it can create maps. If you have like a trend line, if you have historic records, then it can create a trend line on it. So, And then we also, in the same screen, but I don't have to go to in detail, we can also define where you want to see it. So one of the places we wanted to see it is when you're working on construction projects, you want to see all the dashboards related to construction projects. So that's the next one. So this is the place where we deal with the construction projects, and then we put on the dashboard all the things you marked as I want to see it there. So now it's really customizable. You can set up your own data set. You can set up your own way of how to look at the data. You can manipulate data, like doing calculations and stuff, and then you can see it on the place where you're working every day. So then the last project we started was what if OpenAI can also do something with my data? So this is going over the line which I described earlier. So it's an assistant, a specific assistant, which you can turn off and on as a company. So if you don't want to have data over the line, you can shut off this assistant. But if you want, you can say to the OpenAI assistant, please, this is my data set, please take a look at it, and give me some feedback. What trends do you see? What kind of discrepancies do you see? Maybe some project has some really bad numbers or really strange stuff, and then you can get it out of it. So it can create a report. This is the report creating. So you get a nice report based on 10 or 11 or 12 or 15 projects you're running, and then it gives you the feedback you want. So that was also quite cool, but this is still, I think this is very powerful, but we still have to tweak the prompts we use here. I don't think that what we get back right now, I'm sure you're not able to read it, and this is not really that helpful yet, but we are working on that, and I think it will be helpful. So that's basically what I wanted to show from what we created. One thing to take into consideration is security, of course. I was mentioning what are you going to send over to OpenAI and what not, and what are they doing with that. Take that in consideration. Be sure that you have nice contracts, but don't let it hold you back experimenting. There's like a big difference between experimenting stuff and figuring out what to do with it and taking it into production. You can, of course, experiment all day long and not taking it into production because you don't trust the security. But take it into account because you don't want to get your data on the street, of course. So it's all about the flywheel of development, which is not only for OpenAI, this is for whatever you want to figure out. It's all about the flywheel of development, taking feedback, rebuild it and stuff. And the thing is, and that's what I want to finish with today, Thinkwise is really helping on this flywheel. Because the iterations previously, let's say 20 years ago, I had to develop something, drive my car to the customer, show it to the customer and come back and then fix it. That's like 20, 25 years ago. Nowadays, you can build something and you can show it, and maybe if you want to tweak something, in the afternoon you can show the changes already been mentioned in the feedback loop. So it really helps iterate this very fast. So that's what I want to give to you. Please, if you use Thinkwise already, use it for this, and even with the new options now that Jasper Kloos told us about. But this will really help us getting on the train for AI. So yeah.